Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast series of HCL Aerospace and Defense Practice. I am Anshul Sharma, Industry Principal for Aerospace and Defense at HCLTech. And today I have with me Michael Edlin, who is the Senior Director of Aerospace and Defense at HCLTech. And today Mike is going to talk about SAP Production Engineering and Operations, which is a module in SAP S/4HANA to manage the production and manufacturing process. Mike, welcome to this podcast. And could you tell us more about SAP PEO and how this solution can help A&D companies to navigate their digital transformation journey?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Anshul. I can. So first of all, let me talk about what PEO is. So PEO, the acronym stands for S/4HANA Manufacturing for Production Engineering and Operations. So that's where the PEO comes from the Production Engineering and Operations. And what it is it really opens up the world of SAP for manufacturing, because what SAP has done is they have taken the manufacturing functionality, the requirements for manufacturing of complex assemblies like we see in aerospace and defense, and they have built that functionality inside the S/4HANA digital core. So whenever we are comparing PEO like to other MES standalone solutions, what we're really comparing is not PEO specifically, but S/4HANA and how that compares to other solutions.
Great. Thank you for that quick introduction, Mike, about PEO. My follow-up question is specifically about the transition of product data from engineering to manufacturing. So we see that there are several other solutions, specifically product lifecycle management solutions in the market, which can help in this seamless transition of the product data from the engineering to the manufacturing function. So how is PEO, different from these PLM solutions, and what is the value it provides?
Yeah, that's a really good point, because certainly in aerospace and defense, we always talk in terms of a digital thread, and everything really in aerospace and defense, everything really starts with is engineering centric. And so we need to bring that model-based definition and all of the 3D models, the bill of materials, and bring that all over to SAP and PEO in this case. And what's really nice about that is SAP has partnered with Siemens for one, and other organizations to bring over information from engineering information from Siemens, from Dassault Systems, from PTC. And the way that works is a seamless change management integration, so that whenever a change starts inside of something like Siemens, that change propagation that propagates over to SAP and into PEO, and it's very seamless. And what happens there is it depends on the maturity of a program. If it's an older program, maybe they're only giving PEO the engineering bill of materials, and then inside of PEO and the engineering side of that, we can do the manufacturing engineering and derive the bill of process. But if it's a new program and they want to leverage all the simulation capabilities and all of the bill of process capabilities inside the PLM solution, well, that's also possible. So we can bring over anything from engineering, from just a basic EBOM, and build out the bill of process inside of PEO, or we can start with a complete manufacturing bill of materials. Even the complete bill of process might include some operations and work instructions, and bring that over to PEO also. There's something built into PEO called the Production Integration Portal to make all of this possible. And it gets down to elements such as, say there's a measurement or a tolerance that starts in engineering, that can be brought over, that data collection element, as an inspection characteristics inside of S/4HANA, inside of PEO. And then say in the future, the tolerance on that dimension changes. That's all controlled through change management. So whenever that tolerance changes on that dimension, that carries over to PEO. We know everywhere that it's affected in the routings and the work instructions, the bill of process, orders that are out on the shop floor. And it's a very seamless and easy change management process to incorporate that updated tolerance. So it's really been designed. We understand that in aerospace and defense, it's engineering centric, and the priority is to make that very seamless between the PLM solutions and the manufacturing solution on the shop floor.
Mhm. It seems to me, Mike, that PEO certainly does have some manufacturing execution capabilities, but we also see that there are several third-party manufacturing execution systems which are available. Specifically from some of the companies, like you mentioned, like we have Dassault, Apriso, Siemens Op Center, or even iBase-T, Solumina. So,
Mhm.
how does PEO differs from these third-party solutions, and what is the benefit it provides over these?
Well, the first benefit is going to be from the IT side, and what that means is that it's built into S4, so there's no interfaces required, no custom interfaces that have to be built to connect that third-party MES solution to the digital core or to the enterprise solutions. And it seems trivial. It seems like it's it might not be that important to the shop floor worker, especially. They're not really concerned with the IT side of things. But what it means is that there are things whenever you have a third party, even whenever we were using SAP Complex Assembly Manufacturing Solution, there's a requirement like you would have a shop floor order for execution on the shop floor, and there would be a duplicate order inside the enterprise resource solution inside of ERP. And these things have to be kept in sync, and there's interfaces. So whenever I'm collecting data on the shop floor and doing status changes, then there's an interface that has to update the information in the enterprise system, and that all goes away. So every time that somebody is working on the shop floor and they click a button on or do a data collection, that's updating the enterprise system in real time. So it's triggering everything from supply chain to warehouse, quality management. All of that is happening in absolute real time. So there's no delay, there's no overnight upload of information to the enterprise system. So the enterprise has absolute real time work in process status. But on top of that, so that's one benefit. You get rid of all that IT integration. But on top of that, you also get the benefit of all of the other things that are built into S4HANA. So take, for example, the quality assurance module. So typically in a standalone MES solution, there's going to be a quality module included in that. And that module is going to be specifically for handling non-conformance on the shop floor. So if I have a defect on the shop floor, I can write that defect, a non-conformance, get an engineering disposition. Maybe it goes through a material review board MRB process, but I do all that documentation, and that's pretty standalone to the MES solution. But with PEO, because it's S4HANA based, now we're talking about the quality management solution that's in SAP. And so there, from inside of PEO, we can do a defect notification, we can make a quality notification, and this all rolls up into the same exact quality management solution that's being used for all notification types in SAP. So service notifications, maintenance notifications, feedback to the supply chain. Maybe I can do a return to the supplier and do corrective action processing and generate engineering change requests through this whole process. So it's much more capable quality management solution, so I can look at my total cost of quality as opposed to having a standalone MES solution that has its own standalone non-conformance solution. So that's just one example. And on top of that, all of the artificial intelligence that's built into S4HANA, all of the capabilities around analytics and reporting that are built into S4HANA. So one thing I would ask customers to do when they're evaluating PEO as a MES solution, to recognize and realize that you're not really comparing MES solutions anymore. You're comparing the MES functionality now to all of the capabilities that that S4HANA provides. It's not limited only to PEO.
Okay. And Mike, so for A&D companies who are looking to implement this solution, what are the deployment options available? You mentioned about S4HANA, but some A&D companies might not have even migrated to S4HANA yet. So are there any alternative options for those as well?
Yeah, there's this digital supply chains module. It's called DSC version of PEO. And what it is, so PEO is built on top of S4HANA. Now, a company might be running, ECC version of SAP, and maybe they're looking at going to S4HANA in the future, but are not quite there yet to do the complete transformation of the enterprise. So what can be done is you can actually take the S4HANA, the DSC version, and run PEO as a standalone solution or a sidecar. And that comes, the deployment option there is all of the configuration interface to ECC is all pre-configured out of the box. So a customer can deploy the manufacturing solutions earlier than maybe they're doing the complete S4HANA transformation. Now, so that's one way of deploying it. It's also built into to S4HANA, so you could run S4HANA as a single instance across your corporation. But you can also use that DSC version. Maybe you want to have like an enterprise-wide solution for finance, but you need to have maybe it's some ITAR requirements or some sovereign data requirements where you need the manufacturing solutions to be more plant specific or geographically specific, and so you can deploy PEO as a distributed manufacturing solution as well. And that also also addresses some concerns that maybe a customer might have, that maybe if I'm doing a over the weekend upgrade to my enterprise system, I don't want to put down my my manufacturing solution. And so then you can let the manufacturing run independently of finance and supply chain, say, for example. So that's some of the deployment options. Also, it can be solution for finance, but you need to have maybe it's some ITAR requirements or some sovereign data requirements where you need the manufacturing solutions to be more plant specific or geographically specific, and so you can deploy PEO as a distributed manufacturing solution as well. And that also also addresses some concerns that maybe a customer might have, that maybe if I'm doing a over the weekend upgrade to my enterprise system, I don't want to put down my my manufacturing solution. And so then you can let the manufacturing run independently of finance and supply chain, say, for example. So that's some of the deployment options. Also, it can be deployed on a private enterprise cloud. Typically, our aerospace and defense customers are not looking for public cloud for their intellectual property, but they can still use SAP RISE and take advantage of a private enterprise cloud for the deployment options of PEO as well.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mike, for those wonderful insights, and it was great speaking with you. Thanks, everyone.
All right, and so thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.